Loneliness. Today we're talking about loneliness. Why? Because it's been the New Year's, Christmas, summer vacation break times, and I've been watching a lot of TV. And just so happens that every single television show, every movie, every this, that, and the other that I have consumed or watched or been a part of has without fail mentioned loneliness. The greatest, most horrible, just about the scariest thing there is. And every single time anyone mentions it and puts it in those stark, scary terms, I can't help but turn my head and sigh and go, no, that's not right. Loneliness? I'm pretty sure that's not real. Now, I say that, and I think I have good reason to say it, and I'll explain those as we go on. But most people probably think when I say that I'm in incredible denial. I'm lying to myself, I'm lying to you. No. In fact, it's absolutely true to say that I am a complete alien to the idea of loneliness. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, and I personally have never experienced something that I can actually honestly put my finger on and say, that's loneliness. Yes, you've experienced that hole in your chest that can only be filled and sustained by a human connection. Nope. Honestly, never happened. And again, oh no, you're in denial. Maybe, but no, I'm not. So it always remarks something weird to me when this is a trope of pretty much all just culture in general. Certainly Western culture. I can also absolutely point to Japanese culture and maybe Eastern culture in general, but Western and Japanese for sure. Loneliness as the biggest, hardest, most existential threat to us as individuals or perhaps even humanity in general. That's the thing that's going to kill us. It's going to crush us spiritually, mentally, physically. And yet, every single time that I see that, I get it. I understand it. I mean, I think I do at least. In terms of what it represents. But in terms of the actual emotion itself, I don't think it's real. In fact, I'm almost certain it's not real. And I'll tell you why. All of our emotions, all of our sort of responses to stimuli and lack of stimuli, in this case, are a result of evolution. They're biological imperatives that have been programmed over generations and that have evolved into something that basically allowed us as human beings to survive. And our psychological modules, as they're called in evolutionary psychology, are exactly the same. Loneliness would have to be one of those same things because it applies cross-culturally. It must be an evolutionary adaptation. Now, that is, as far as Wikipedia is aware, it's the definition that they're using. That it's, it's social utility. It's, you feel bad because you're not connected with other human beings, so you seek out other human beings. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Except that, generally speaking, is not usually what happens. Most of the time when people are lonely, they're just lonely. Again, from movies and TV, that seems to be the case. But I still don't necessarily think that's true because I'm the case study here. I do not experience loneliness. I've been alone and sad, but never sad because I'm alone. They're independent of each other. That being the case, you have to ask yourself, okay, well, if you never experienced it, there's only really two possibilities here. A, I'm a mutant. I am some strange, weird aberration that, simply put, has evolved beyond, not correct usage of that term, but anyway, I am not capable of feeling loneliness because of genetic changes that have occurred within me. Okay, that's a possibility. The probability of that happening is basically like what, one in a billion? Yeah, like way significantly higher than winning the lottery by orders of magnitude. So you have to ask yourself, is that really something you can actually never, in any sense, put money on? Can you bet that that's the case? I certainly can't. So I have to go, okay, I'm not special. I have to be one of every other human being that's, existed for the past couple thousand years. And therefore am capable of feeling loneliness in the sense that I am neurologically, biologically, physically, psychologically, evolutionarily the same as every other human being that exists now and has for the past, again, 1,500 plus years. So the second option is the only one that I can actually credit as being possible, which is loneliness is something that is culturally instituted. Or, well, perhaps not culturally instituted, but it's basically something that can be conditioned into and you can be conditioned out of. And for whatever weird, strange reason, I've never been inducted into the fraternity of loneliness. And because of that, I've never experienced it. Now, how could that be? Well, one obvious scenario would be, look, hey, everybody out there, you're supposed to have a boyfriend and a girlfriend or a girlfriend when you're young, when there's absolutely no possibility, certainly in the Western world, of reproducing. All of the things that actually come from a good relationship, they're not in any way, shape, or form in the cards for you. And yet, you're still supposed to do that. Why? If I'm going to be uncharitable, it's because there's junkies pushing junk. These people that are addicted to the feelings of love and oxytocin, dopamine, neurotransmitters, and these types of things. They're pushing their kids into that. And they're pushing other people's kids into that as well. And then you know what? You're a 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old kid, and you just get a little bit of a flash of that first love. And the world stops, and everything's about you. The world was made for you. Why? Because all those fucking drugs in your head say so. Because relationships are a drug. And you know what? Now you're hooked. Now you're hooked for life. And in fact, every relationship you're going to have after this isn't about being in a good relationship. It's about not getting sick. You need your medicine. And so, you're going to get whatever kind you can. You're going to get that stepped on bullshit that's sold by that POS down the street because you need something. Anything's better than nothing. Kind of makes sense, right? Certainly does to me as I'm saying it. But for me, it makes absolutely no sense. I can't understand it at all. I can empathize, I suppose, and that's what this whole thing's about, is I can create a scenario where I would potentially understand this. But I don't know if it's true. And in fact, for me, it seems completely insane to be doing this. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if I can't have a good relationship with someone, romantic relationships we're talking about here, I'd rather have no relationships. Most people, as far as I can see, would rather have any relationship, be it bad or mid-tier nothingness, not bad, not good, just something. They'd rather have that than nothing. I can't understand that. It doesn't compute for me. And I think it doesn't compute for me because, again, like I've said, loneliness does not exist for me. I don't think it's real. Because I don't think I'm that special. So it must be that for whatever odd, strange set of circumstances, I've just moved beyond it. I don't know, never been inducted into that cult, to be ungracious. And therefore, I can see this thing as what it actually is. Now, of course, I must admit that it's entirely possible that I am actually just a weirdo alien lizard person, and this is a completely normal, natural part of the human experience, and I can't empathize with it because, as I said, I'm outside of that. That's entirely possible, but let's again assume that I'm not one of those. That being the case, you have to ask yourself, is it worth getting into a relationship if you're not getting anything out of it? If it's not a good relationship? Because I can absolutely understand the good in a good relationship. That's a wonderful, fantastic thing, and I can absolutely empathize with that. And I, in fact, am looking for that. I would love to find that. But I'm not willing to put myself into a bad relationship to escape loneliness. I'm not willing to put myself even into a not bad, not good, nothing of a relationship to escape loneliness. Because I don't fear loneliness. It has no hold over me. Now, because we've been reading Stoic philosophy, I would love to be able to say that that is because I have rid myself of the attachment that comes along with the fear of loneliness and so on and so forth. I don't think that's the case. I think I'm just naturally inclined or nurturally inclined to not care about this thing. Still, I'm happy I'm where I'm at. But of course, it might be a bad move. I might actually be unmotivated to find new things and do new people. Because of that, my ambition is suppressed because my fear is non-existent. Okay, that's entirely possible. But where would you rather be? Would you rather be with fear and with ambition, or without fear and absent ambition? Personally, I honestly don't know. So you're actually going to have to answer on that question, which I suppose is what the comments are for. So, yeah, go ahead, throw that stuff down there. And while we're talking about that, also like and subscribe if you feel like it. With that, we'll sign off because I'm fairly certain I'm just rambling and babbling at this point. So I applaud you for tuning in and listening to a incoherent lunatic rambling, ranting, and babbling about who knows what. And I hope you tune in next time when I come up with something else to randomly expound on. Farewell.